This is Tank's Vlog for September 25th, 2018. We are brought to you by Allow Me to Be Frank, the weekly podcast you can hear on SoundCloud and iTunes. We got a new episode. It's dropping on Tuesday. Smitty's on it. It's a great episode. Let me tell you, it's a fun episode. You're going to love it. So tune in to Allow Me to Be Frank on SoundCloud and iTunes to hear Smitty with talking about football, the NFL, the Eagles, that weird thing that the Flyers just unveiled as their mascot. So listen to Allow Me to Be Frank. And Michael Rappaport, pay Smitty! All right. It's the last week of the baseball season. And every American League playoff spot is now sewn up. The only thing we don't know is where the wild card game will be. The Yankees beat the Rays today, 4-1. Solid start by Sonny Gray. Yankees got some good defense. And the A's blew apart the Mariners 7-3. Boy, Seattle, after such a good first half, got Robinson Cano back in the second half and just disappeared. So it's now 17 years and counting since the Seattle Mariners have tasted the postseason. The longest drought of any of the four major league teams. Red Sox, meanwhile, they've had this wrapped up for a long time. Now have home field throughout the playoffs as they beat the Orioles today 6-2. It's their 106th win of the season. And the Orioles' 111th loss. So for those of you counting at home, the Orioles are only 60 games out of first place. Give it a year or two, they might actually catch up. Astros, meanwhile, move closer to winning the West. That's one thing that needs to be wrapped up, but it's basically over. They have a 5-3 winner over the Blue Jays. Their magic number is 1 right now. So everything's basically wrapped up in the American League. Same cannot be said in the National League. That's where the excitement is. Mets are off today. They begin their final homestand tomorrow. But biggest series right now is in St. Louis. Top 2 wildcard teams are playing each other. Brewers and Cardinals. Now the Cardinals' wildcard position is tenuous. They only had a game-and-a-half lead going into today over the Rockies. Brewers had a 2-game lead over the rest of the wildcard race. And the Brewers, with some timely hitting from Christian Yelich, continuing to add to that MVP resume, beat the Cardinals 6-4. Now the Brewers have a 3-game lead over the Rockies and a 2.5-game lead over the Cardinals for what would be home field. So the Brewers are not only sitting in good position to make the playoffs, they're sitting in good position to host the wild card game. Plus, they still have a chance to win the division. Game and a half out now, as the Cubs lost at home today to the Pirates 5-1. Out west, the Rockies are back to making that race. They're only a half game out of behind the Cardinals for the wild card as they bludgeoned the Phillies 10-1. Boy, Philadelphia, the Phillies are now 78-78. What a terrible last month it's been in Philadelphia. And they're actually now behind the Nationals. Nationals now in second place with the 7-3 win over the Marlins, by the way. Meanwhile, the Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks 7-4. So currently, they lead the Rockies by a game and a half. Rockies are a game and a half out of first in the West. Half game out of the wild card. And that's where all the races are. Braves already have the East clinched. They begin their series with the Mets tomorrow, as mentioned earlier. And that's where all the excitement's going to be. I mean, you have other games. The Angels today with Jose Bresano with a pinch hit home run led the Angels to a 5-4 win over the Rangers. The Padres blanked the Giants 5-0. The Indians already secured in the Central Division Championship. Beat the White Sox 4-0. Solid outing for Corey Kluber, winning his 20th game of the season. Monday Night Football. Boy, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Winless in their first two games. Desperate. Had to win in Tampa. Otherwise, every panic button in Pittsburgh would have been pushed. And Ryan Fitzpatrick was terrific first two games. But after the Buccaneers had the lead early, it all came crashing down for Tampa in the second quarter as the Steelers scored 24 points, causing 4 turnovers, including 3 interceptions, and including a pick 6 from Fitzpatrick, as the Steelers took a 30-10 lead at the half. However, the Steelers in the second half didn't show up. They didn't score any more points, and Buccaneers damn near almost came back, but they ran out of time. Final score, Pittsburgh 30, Tampa 27. And Ryan Fitzpatrick managed to top 411 yards again. So even though he didn't get the win, he almost led Tampa back. I mean, all the Buccaneers would do is needed more time. The only problem is they couldn't make those stops and had a punt return call back. But Pittsburgh's still got a lot of problems. Their defense at times looks soft. They've took a lot of penalties. Roethlisberger had a good first half, but so shaky second half. And there's something missing here. James Conner had 61 yards on 15 carries, but it looks like the loss of Le'Veon Bell is actually starting to affect this team just a little bit. And the chasm of these two just continues to grow as the Steelers now shopping him. I mean, what has happened in Pittsburgh is just absolutely shocking. That nobody got a hold of Le'Veon Bell and told him, look, play the good soldier for a year. You might win a Super Bowl. And instead you got teammates hating him. You got like a divided locker, and it's not good for Pittsburgh. Not a good look. And even though they got the win today, I think there's still a lot of problems. Today's 3 stars are Ben Roethlisberger with 353 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Corey Kluber, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed, and 11 strikeouts. And Anthony Rendon of the Washington Nationals, who had 4 RBI game in their win over the Marlins. Today's birthday shout-out goes to, well, every Batman needs a Robin, and for Michael Jordan, that Robin was Scottie Pippen. Today, he turns 53. And it was 44 years ago today, that a left-handed pitcher for Los Angeles Dodgers, facing the end of his career, agreed to have an experimental surgery done. With his elbow ligaments torn to tattered, today that pitcher in 1974 had a surgery done where they would move a ligament from his wrist and put it in his elbow. That pitcher came back a year and a half later named Tommy John. And that was the first Tommy John surgery on this date, 1974. Check out the full story at Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, and it is an absolute crime. Cooperstown, wake up. Baseball Hall of Fame Veterans Committee, wake up. Tommy John is a Hall of Famer. This must happen ASAP. It's a crime that he's not in the Hall of Fame. A crime. So don't forget, we have Smitty on this week. New episode will be out tomorrow on this morning. Allow Me to Be Frank. SoundCloud, iTunes, and if you missed any past episodes, we got the archive right there. I'm sure you're going to love it all. It's a great show. Got great people, Sawyer, Tuma. They do a great job putting it together for me, helping me get it together, helping me get it edited, put out. Click on it, listen, and have a good day.